going to attempt to screen capture this this lesson and try and post it. I don't know if D2L is going to let me post gigabyte files, but we'll give it a college try. Maybe we YouTube. So either way, I'm going to try and get you those up so that you have a reference. All right, let's start with SolidWorks. So first of all, I'm nowhere near a SolidWorks expert. SolidWorks is a beast of a program. It has so many options. Sometimes it's intimidating just to get started to do something simple because it's such a dynamic, huge, ridiculous program. Extremely useful, extraordinarily useful. So don't classify me as an expert. This is a basics course. I'm going to give you basic stuff. You're going to learn a lot of things through the embedded tutorials in SolidWorks, and then we're going to discuss finer points and advanced points. I tried to pick and choose the stuff that I thought you would use most in senior projects, so the stuff that would benefit you the most for this course. So that's what we're going to do. The first thing I want to do is I just want to show you SolidWorks, the environment. So when you open it, you're going to get something like this. At the top, you have kind of your title bar, which has your kind of your standard Microsoft-looking menus. And then you have these new, they're trying to stick with Microsoft and make everything look like apps. I hate it. It's a bunch of pictures, and they're trying to make it easier, but I never know what the damn pictures mean. So I wish they'd just go back to words. You can read the words. But so this bar is kind of just icons for what you can find in your regular menus here. Let's see. So you've got your new file, and your open your file, and your print, and your save, and all that jazz. I'm going to open a file just so that I can show you some of the other things. Let's try this one. Oh, well, I guess I won't open that one. Thanks a lot. So let's do this one because I'm going to open it later. Okay. So when you open a part or you start a new part, I guess I could have just done a new document. You get a whole bunch of other stuff. So I just want to kind of quickly go through the environment with you. First of all, on this right-hand side is kind of this resources bar. I like this. I like this one. So this resources one has this SolidWorks curriculum, which has the tutorials embedded in it. Okay, and I'm gonna assign you guys tutorials all throughout the course. They're little videos, and they're interactive, so you'll have to make parts. I know some of you might have done some of this. How many people have done some stuff with SolidWorks? All right, so you might get a little bored early, but please go ahead and do all this stuff anyway again as a refresher. And in class, we'll be going through some more advanced stuff. What you won't be bored with is the SolidCam and the machining practicum of what you've built or what you've designed, how we're going to build that. So seeing your designs go into reality, you'll get that in this course. So you should be happy campers when we're done. But give me a break if you get bored early. All right, so you can hit this little arrow thing and make this thing go away, and you can kind of drag it off to the side. It also has some other cool stuff that we're going to go into later. They have some toolboxes and things, some pre-programmed parts that you don't have to make, like screws and fasteners and that kind of thing. You can just drag and drop them in, so you don't have to build a whole model about that. So that's kind of cool. There's a whole host of toolbars. So if you go to and be patient with SolidWorks. It's a beast of a program. Sometimes it takes, depending on your processor, it takes a long time to load up. And when you click around on things, it takes some time to catch up. So be patient with your clicking. I know you guys like to click, but be patient. What was I doing? Oh, your toolbars. So if you go into your view and your toolbars, there are a gazillion toolbars, okay? And you can display those and dock those as you wish. The main ones that kind of always come up, and if they don't, you should make them come up, are this Command Manager toolbar right here. And that's got all your cool, all the stuff you need to do basic SolidWorks features. So here's the Features toolbar. Okay, so you can extrude things and make three-dimensional products out of your sketches. This one is the most important one. It's the most, we're going to spend a lot of time on it today. It's really, really important. It's sketching. So SolidWorks is a parametric CAD, computer-aided drafting program. You start with a base sketch and you build models off that sketch. You build the 3 dimensions off that sketch. So sketching it is really important. Getting the sketch right is more important than anything else. The sketching is the hardest part and the features are the easiest part. So you got to get your sketch right. So your sketch toolbar is really important in this Command Manager. You find it on this tab. The Evaluation tab is very useful. You can measure things a lot. You can use, SolidWorks has a lot of analysis tools. We're not going to go into those much, if at all. You need to be careful using those analysis tools. You need to gut check them with what you learned in your courses. You've heard garbage in, garbage out. That's what those design tools do. If you make poor assumptions, you're going to get answers that you think are right, but if your assumption was poor, the answer is poor. So, but other things like mass properties, other kinds of properties are really cool in here. Probably not going to use this Dimension Expert tab much at all, or the Office products much at all, maybe the SolidWorks Toolbox. You'll also see when you get SolidCam, you'll have 2 extra tabs. You'll have the SolidCam part and the SolidCam operations. We'll go into that next week. But once you get your software downloaded, those 2 will pop up for you. The other toolbar that is incredibly useful is this Heads Up toolbar. And it's kind of docked right here by default. You can move it around and dock it other places, but it makes the most sense right here. This is incredibly useful. You need this a lot. It's your zoom tools, your view tools. I can move the views around. Your display style tools, your appearance tools. It's an incredibly useful toolbar. So if you don't see it on your version of SolidWorks, you want to get it. All right. Feel free to stop me at any time. So those are our toolbars. You can see your units at the bottom of the screen. I'm in inch, pound, and second. I'm a British imperial guy. Sorry. We'll talk more about that later. Then on your left, you have your Feature Tree Manager, and this is probably the second most important thing compared to your Command Manager. This is the history of your part. It shows how you develop this part, and it gives you almost all the important information, commands, planes, everything that was used to build your part. So you'll be using this Feature Tree Manager a lot. It also have a configuration manager. You can have multiple configurations in SolidWorks. So you can have one configuration that shows a certain view and a certain color and a certain set of dimensions and tolerances and all kinds of stuff, and then you can have another one so you can quickly move back and forth. I don't tend to use that very much. Most people don't, but some advanced modelers do. Again, this Dimension Expert Manager, we won't be going into that. Your Display Manager is here, and you might use this to do different colors and different appearances. We'll get into that a little bit. You can expand this window if you want, and it's doing some weird stuff to me. I think it's the displaying to the projector, so my graphics card is having a hard time keeping up. There's this little arrow thing. This can be useful later. I think you'll see it in a tutorial, but if you expand that, you can have a hide show on all your little components. So like here's the front plane. There it is. There's the front plane, but it's not shown right now. So you can change its visibility in here. You can change display mode here. You can change appearance here of all different kinds of features in your part. and you can change transparency here. So this is kind of a cool, quick way to look at all the different display states of all the little components of your model. Okay, you won't always use it, but it's useful. Questions? There's other toolbars that you might find interesting and you might find useful, and that's up to you. So when you get your version of SolidWorks on your computer, it's up to you to decide what toolbars you want to see. I'll just throw one in just for fun. Let's go to View, Toolbars. So there's a whole bunch of SolidCam toolbars you'll get when you get your SolidCam. Later on, we'll do a sheet metal. So let's just show the sheet metal. So here's the sheet metal. And like any other program I'm sure you're used to, you can dock these things unless you're retarded like I am. There we go. You can dock them. I believe in SolidWorks you can dock them all over the place. You can dock them left, right, up, down, down here. Yeah, there's another one down there. You can dock them all over the place, so it's up to you. I'm not a guy that likes to have every single toolbar open, but then again, I'm not a CAD modeler either. If I was a CAD modeler, I'd probably have the whole damn screen filled with toolbars so you can just click things really quick. But that's where you find them, and you can use them if you want. If I were you, I would go by and just, read all of them and maybe even click them and open them and look at all the options. Spend an hour doing that, and you're going to be way more familiar with SolidWorks and the tools that are available and what you can do. It'll help you out. So I would do that if I were you. This is your graphics area. Down here, there's motion study. We're going to do animations later in probably 2 weeks. So that's where we'll get into that. And then if you look in your graphics area, you've got the kind of the global coordinate system. It shows you X, Y, and Z. These are important. The colors are important when we get to SolidCam. So it's nice to know that X is red, Y is green, and Z is blue. And then if you take your mouse and if you have a roller wheel, if you push down on the roller wheel, you can kind of drag your part around like that. So that's a nice little feature. Your roller wheel zooms in and it zooms out. It does it kind of funky, so sometimes you have to kind of zoom in and zoom out that way. All right, where are we at? All right, document templates. So if I was to, this is going to be your homework for tonight, so you might want to pay a little bit more attention. If I was to, how am I doing on time? We're going to go till 10:55. Okay, good. If I was to open a new part, so I go to new, and I can do parts or drawings. Here I have a part. On your version of SolidWorks that's sitting right there, you probably only have part, assembly, drawing. Okay. On mine, I have this Aerospace Imperial and Aerospace Standard, and I probably should have more than that. You can make your own templates. Now, for your parts, you probably won't find that all that useful, but for your drawings, it's hugely useful, especially if you have, let's say, a senior project where you're going to have 20 to 50 drawings. You don't want to pull up a drawing and write in the title box every single time what your project name is, who you are, what the date is, what your tolerances are. You don't want to do that over and over and over again. You want your own templates, okay? So you can make your own templates. And that's what your homework's going to be tonight, is making your own personal templates and uploading them. So let's go to... when I open a new part, these templates come up. We need to make our own template and get it into the right directory so that when you open a part, you can just select it, like my Aerospace Imperial here. Okay? To do that, you go to your tools and options, and it's down here a little bit. This is probably the most useful button in SolidWorks that there is this tools options. It's also right here if you want to be lazy. It's up at the top right here. Okay, There are so many options for SolidWorks because it's such a powerful program. You might, if I were you also, I'd spend part of that hour tonight just looking through all these. Click through these and see all the different kind of options you can use. Just kind of take mental notes of it. In this case, we're going to do, if you do default templates, here you see these templates will be used for operation. I'm sorry about this projector. It's not the greatest. I'm going to work on that. We need better looks there. But if you see this, one thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to select this prompt user to select document template. You're going to have to select that. I don't know if it's on these machines, and I don't know if it'll stay, but go ahead and do that now if you've got it open. What that's going to do is when you go to File New, it'll prompt you to ask here. It'll ask you for it here. If you don't select that, it will probably just open up a new part and not ask you what template you want. So you want to do that. And if you want to create your own, you just go ahead and create it. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a new part. And I'm going to use the standard part for SolidWorks. And then you just go in and you select any options that you care about. And then at the end, we're going to save that as a template. And you're going to save it as your name. So, and before we go on to that, or no, let's do that. So first of all, under my options, first thing I'm going to do for my default, which is probably already done on my computer but not yours. So I'm going to go to Document Properties and go to Units. It probably defaulted to millimeter, gram second, or meter, kilogram second. I'm going to go, just for fun, for this one, to inch, pound second. Now, I don't care what units you use. I love the people that have fights about units. It's like having a fight between Windows and Mac. Who cares? They both do the same damn thing. It's personal preference. Okay. Now, I know in your curriculum, you guys have been taught all in metric. So you probably want to stick with metric. It makes the most sense for you. The problem you're going to run into, two problems. First of all, here in senior projects, all those machines in there are from World War II and on, and they're all in imperial units. So all the little dials and all the little readouts and everything, and all the little markings on everything are in British imperial units. So you're going to have to get familiar with them. The second thing is fasteners and other types of conventions like pipe sizes, tube sizes, thicknesses of sheet metals and plates and all that kind of stuff. In America, they still have imperial units. It would cost way too much to retool all these factories to build all those things in metric units. So you get a lot of 1/4 inch bolts and 18 gauge thickness sheets and on and on and on. 1/8 inch NPT pipe, which isn't 1/8 of an inch in diameter. Okay, you get all that stuff, and it makes you need to know how to convert from one to another, and you need to know when it makes sense in your CAD models to call out, okay, I want a 1/4 inch, 1/4-20 bolt rather than an M4 bolt because it's easier for me to buy, cheaper, faster for me to buy the 1/4 inch bolt. Now in your CAD model, you can just take the 1/4 inch and convert it to its metric equivalent. But when you go to your drawing and you go to your purchasing, a lot of times you're going to want to be in imperial units, and it's up to you to know which. Okay? Yes?
Is there a way to just quickly convert your model from to imperial units?
Yes, right here. We're in it right here.
Okay.
So
that'll change.
It'll change everything. Okay. So you build your whole model in inch, pound, second, and then you want it in metric. You just go into this document properties units and hit metric, changes it all. Okay? But it's all still the same size. A millimeter is 0.0394 inches. It doesn't matter if you call it an inch or you call it a millimeter, it's the same size. The decimal equivalent is the same. So my advice to you is, if you like metric, which you probably do, and you probably can build all your models in metric units. There are going to be some things that you should do in imperial units in their metric equivalent. And that's, like I said, it's going to be fasteners is most of it, and standard sizes of materials. You are not going to find a 5mm thick 6061 T6 aluminum plate unless you want to pay 10 times as much to have it shipped from China. You're not going to find it. It's built here in America. They're a 1/2 inch. So when you're designing your part and you want it to be out of a piece of material that you don't want to have to machine too much off of, you need to think, okay, I can get 1/2 inch plate, so I'll just figure out what that is in metric units, and that's what I'll type into my model. See what I mean? Okay, so it's up to you to understand the difference and to manipulate the units the way you need them. Okay, I don't care what you use. Just be aware of that reality. If we were in China or Korea, South Korea, or Thailand or Germany, the same would be true. You aren't going to find a 1/2 inch bolt in Germany. It's not happening. You better make your models in get an M5 bolt. Okay, but that's not how it is here. You just we have metric fasteners, but they're more rare, which means price goes up, and it means you can't go down to the store and find every single fastener you want. But you can in English units. Okay, so just for fun for me, I'm going to do inch, pound, second just for now. And then going down to decimals, most of the machines and the resolution of what we can do is easily in the 3rd decimal place in decimal equivalents, and sometimes even in the 4th decimal place. So I like to resolve my units to 3 decimal places most times. Okay, my angles I'm okay with 2 decimal places, but my lengths I like to be in 3 decimal places. So that's just one option I picked. Now there's a bazillion other options to pick in here. You can do whatever you want. You can have display style. You can have colors of the background. Let's do that for fun. Let's pick something really ganky. Let's do this thing here. Look at how ugly this is. Okay, so I'm going to pick that. And then I'm going to say plain, use background appearance. Use the viewport background color above. That's this one. Okay. And then there's all kinds of other stuff, and I want you to go through and look at this stuff and check it out and find the options that are useful to you and interesting to you. Here's where we start to talk about that style stuff, that subjectivity. This is where you get to differentiate yourself from the person sitting next to you. And the same in the document properties. Okay? If you hit OK there, so there it is. There's that ugly, ugly thing. Okay, so you wouldn't really want to do this unless you're maybe that guy back there, but you could. All right. So that is all that's going to affect your template. I also believe that your toolbars affect your template. I'm not sure about that, but you could check it out. I think if you put in a toolbar, let's go back to that sheet metal toolbar, and I dock it down here. Let's say. I believe if I save this as a template, that toolbar will always come up. Okay, so that's a nice thing to have also. All right, when you're happy with your template, you can go to File, Save As. You just need to go to your Save As Type and go to Part Templates, which is this PRT-DOT, and name it whatever you want. So just in case I need to get this ugly green thing back, I'm going to put it in here and call it my test part dot. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do a second one. All right, so there it is. Okay, I'm going to close out this hideous thing because it hurts my eyeballs. All right, now let's say you wanted to do a new part and get it. Well, it's not there. Okay, we need to drop it in the correct directory so that it shows up in here. All right. So to do that, oh, I forgot some other cool stuff, but maybe I should leave it up to you. Well, let me do it anyway. So so do you notice how some of the options don't come up? It's because I don't have a part open. So some of the options come up when you have a part open. So you might want to have a part open when you do your do your options. There's also materials. Like you can select materials and what they look like. So that's kind of cool. Like this says iron. I mean, you can go to aluminum, and you can change the visibility and the styles of what that's going to look like. All right, now for file locations. So you need to go to default templates, and it says, so for parts, it says it's in this directory. So on my computer, it's program data, SolidWorks, you have templates, blah, 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 aerospace imperial. You want to put this in file locations, document templates, and then you can add and then go find a document template, I think. I hope I'm not lying to you. Where did I put it? Default templates. Oh, okay, here it is. So if you look at default templates and under parts, I've got aerospace imperial. That's one I created and I dropped in here. That's weird. You ought to be able to put more in there. We'll have to look at that. But anyway, play with that. You should be able to add one in there. Bobby, you know?
I think you have to move it. Did you already move it into your program data, SolidWorks 2013? File Explorer?
No. So I didn't put it in there, huh?
I think it has to be in your program data folder.
All right, let's check it out.
So I just didn't move it here.
Program data, SolidWorks. I wish you could just click that and it would just open up. 13 templates. Oh, here we go. So now I need to go get my other one that I saved. Test 2. I'll just paste that over here. Hey, wake up. It's open right here, so it's not happy with me. And it may not even be happy with me. This is something that SolidWorks does to you. Sometimes you have to close SolidWorks out because in the background somewhere it runs these things. So sometimes you have to close SolidWorks. If you're having trouble, try restarting SolidWorks. All right, where was I? Templates. There, it let me put it in. And I ought to be able to go to my options, and I could change my default template to that one if I cared, if it was here. It's not there. Here it is. We dropped it in that directory, and there it is. And there's my ugly green. Okay? So I want you, so your homework is to make your own drawing and part templates. When we get back from break again, or how much time do we have? We have till 10:55? Maybe we can start on the drawing templates. Like I said, the part template is going to be more for you. It's just the way you want to see your part. The drawing template is going to be pretty important because it's going to save you a lot of work. We'll go over more on that, but I want you to make your own drawing and part templates. That'll be due tomorrow at 10 a.m. and it'll be, you'll have to log that or load that up to Dropbox. So go to D2L and go to Dropbox, and you should be able to go to homework 1 and upload it. I've never done that before, but good luck. You'll figure it out. Okay, should we go to break or go into the drawing template? Let's try and get that drawing template done real quick. So the drawing one's more important. So if you go to new and you go to just standard drawing, it's going to give you this standard A-size drawing. And I'm not going to put a model in here. I'm just going to pull this up for you. Here's what I mean. This is really generic. This is called your title block in a drawing, and it's totally generic. Okay, drawing, comments, it's got all this stuff. And a lot of this stuff will be normal stuff that you see in a company, but a lot of it's superfluous, and it takes space away from the drawing space. So it's lame. So I want you to make your own up. And you can do whatever you want here. This is that style points thing. Make it as cool as you want. I did things that I cared about. And these two that I did are available on D2L under Lesson 1 content. So you can look at what I did. Don't use what I did as too much of a guide. I want to see what you can come up with. So let me see. Where's mine? Oh, I hit open. So let's say aerospace standard is probably my drawing template. More on this later, but there's these sheet sizes, A, B, C. A is 8.5 by 11. It's shown in metric units, 279 by 215. If you do the math, that's 8.5 by 11. That's a sheet, one of these. If you select the standard sheet size, it's going to superimpose its default onto yours. So what you want to do is hit custom sheet size, and you want to make sure it's the right size for you. This is that 279 by 215, which is that 8.5 by 11. It shows as blank, but it has my title block on it, and so you can see that. So I like my title block in the lower right-hand corner, and I don't like a bunch of junk in it. I just want, hey, here's where I'm from. Here's my title, my part number when I decide to put it in. Tell the machinist that I want it deburred and cleaned when it's done. I need to know what material it is, and then I have tolerances for the part. Okay? You might want something different. You might not want University of Colorado at Boulder. You might want to put your team name in there, your project name. Maybe you do want a CU. Maybe you want a little CU logo instead of it all spelled out. Whatever the hell you want. You may want. Oops, sorry. You may want some of this other stuff. Some of this other stuff might be useful to you. Hey, don't do that. Hey, now I lost the title block. Now I lost the default one. There we go. You may want some of this stuff in here. This drawn, checked by, approved by, quality control, that's a method in industry of having other eyes look at your designs and make a quality check it, make sure there's not a mistake in there. Really good groups do that. We only had one this year in senior projects do that, but they actually did it. They had the mechanical engineer design it, and then they had the systems engineer check it to make sure they didn't make any bonehead mistakes. So maybe you do want that. I don't know. That's up to you. Maybe you want a finish call out. Maybe you want, and you can make your own boxes too. You can draw in your own boxes. You can type in your own things. These are editable. You see, maybe my graphics card is having trouble sending stuff out to the projector and doing its job at the same time. But you can double click these things and edit them. So that's going to be way more important, I think, the drawing template than the part template. Yes?
How do you actually make those boxes on the options panel?
So you should be able to draw them in.
attach it in?
Yeah, I don't think my... So if you double click this, you can actually hold and drag these boxes. Let's try it on my template. Maybe it'll be nicer to me on my template. I really think this is a graphics card problem. I think if you were to click around on there right now, see this? Look at this. So it just opens up for me, and I can change fonts, I can change sizes, I can change all that jazz, whether it's centered or not. It's not super useful like Excel, like you could do everything under the sun, but there's quite a few options. You can go in and double click the text and edit the text. You can add notes. You can drag this around. You see?
Get that box you're clicking on right now,
I believe you just right click in here and insert a table. And then you can do, I believe that's what you do. Let's say 2 by 2 and just do this jazz. Yeah, see that? So I just inserted another one, and then you can move it around. You can resize it. You can change the border, display, and the thickness and all that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
And I did a 2 by 2. You can do it as many as you want. Okay? So play around with that. You get some style points for this. Be creative. Or be really nerdy and engineering. That's cool too. Alright. I believe we're overdue for a break. Go ahead and take another break. Come back and we'll do a little bit more.
I forgot to ask about this earlier. I may have to leave early, not this Tuesday, but the next 2 Tuesdays at like 10:30. Is that gonna be an issue?
Well, you'll just miss what we're doing. I mean, we have really good lectures there. The next Tuesday is a PowerPoint, so you won't get my commentary, but you could at least read the PowerPoint. Oops. I should stop that.